So myself and two friends took the Pocket 3 to this really cool place in Bali, Indonesia called Taman Festival, and I created this video to hopefully give you an idea of different shots that you can get with this cool little camera that DJI has come out with. The shots aren't perfect, they're not super stable, we didn't have a ton of time, so we're just quickly getting shots. However, that doesn't mean that they might not be useful to you and give you ideas for your own videos. Okay, so we are on follow mode here, that way it can tilt up, and I'm not using active track because I think it'll just be too jittery on her. I probably should be using the Mimo app, that way I can see that she's in frame in the right position, but I forgot my phone, so here we go, and action. This kind of close-up tracking shot is great when you want to stay connected to your subject emotionally while still showing a bit of movement and the environment. So I'm going to keep the setting on tilt locked. That way it doesn't tilt up and down on us. And because the Pocket 3 has a fixed aperture, I'm going to get as close to Bella as possible without getting too close. I don't want a close-up of her ear. But just to give us some background separation, to make that background a little more blurred, and then also have the grid line up so I can keep her on that left side, on that left grid line. That way it's more cinematic per se, and you have the right side of the frame that is open for her journey to wherever we're going. And Bella, go ahead, nice and slow, action. And I'm gonna try and ninja walk as best as possible. Even though this has a gimbal, or it is a gimbal, there still can be little micro jitters that show up. Keeping them in the left third of the frame like this gives a cinematic feel and adds breathing room to the frame, and it is especially useful in scenes where someone's deep in thought or walking with purpose. Okay, so I have it on follow mode here. I'm going to be starting pointing to the ground. That way you could maybe use this as a transition if you are tilting up into something that is a similar color or texture. Here's an example of what that might look like with the Pocket 3 if you're creating a tilt down motion transition. Smoothly walking forward and then panning up at her. This low push-in shot with an upward tilt is a great way to make someone look important or to surprise the viewer with what's coming into the frame. You could even create speed ramps, reverse the clip, and add some motion blur to create a cool effect. All right, so for this, I'm changing the gimbal mode to follow, and I'm gonna tap on active track here. That way it is locked onto Bella, and we're gonna do kind of a fake drone shot. Hopefully this works out. I kind of wanna make sure that I don't lose the track. Once again, I should be using the Mimo app, but I don't have my phone with me. I'm just gonna raise this up. And go ahead, Bella. In a world full of similar looking boring old shots, throwing a shot like this in to show movement, direction, and isolation of you or your character could be a great way to stand out from the crowd. Although the shadow from the camera stick is visible in this shot, so we probably should have tried the other way to see if we could remove that shadow. I'm gonna do my best. And we're just gonna orbit around her. And I switch my gimbal rotation speed to fast just by swiping down and going to that guy running button. Also make sure that you have it on follow mode. And go ahead, Bella. This is a difficult shot because you kind of want to keep the same distance between you and the subject as best as possible. And when you're backpedaling and moving in a circle while they're moving forward, that makes it pretty challenging. You also want to try and keep them in a similar spot in the frame so the viewer stays locked in to the subject. And when you orbit all the way around, finish with a slower paced wide shot that reveals the setting that your subject is in. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like a drone, almost like a video game type shot. We're going to be behind Bella. I'm going to double tap on her to enable active track, and we're going to leave it on tilt locked mode. That way when I bring it down, hopefully, or not hopefully, the camera will stay level with her and not point fully down to the ground. So let me get some height on this. Okay,
And go ahead, Bella.
For this shot, you gotta do everything in your power to keep that camera from bouncing up and down. I find that having one arm out and kind of moving while I'm running allows me to stabilize a bit better. Throw a little locked-on stabilization on that clip in your editing software, and you have this unique video game looking shot.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it on tilt locked mode, and we're just gonna do a simple slide motion here. I'll tap Bella to make sure she's focused, and all you're gonna do is kind of bend your knees a little bit, and you're just going to go from one knee to the other side. Okay, Bella, go ahead and take that picture.
This is a great simple camera motion you can do when you want more than just a point and shoot shot.
And I'm kind of adding a little bit of a rotation into it, and that's creating more of an orbit shot. It's giving it a little more of a dynamic motion to it, but you can just keep it a straight slide if you want. So the last thing we're gonna do is a spin shot with the Pocket 3. So you're gonna press this button right here, go down to the spin shot mode and click 180. This is gonna flip it so it is parallel with the rest of the handle. Oops, there we go. Okay, Bella, wait, sorry. Let me get back to the starting position, I messed up. Okay, and go ahead.
The key to this one is to focus on something in the background of your shot. I'm focusing on the building in the very back and trying to keep it in the same spot as the frame rotates around it. And you're left with a pretty trippy looking shot that is certainly out of the ordinary. If you want to learn how to make your Pocket 3 look more cinematic, dare I say, with different settings and stuff, watch this video right here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.